They say a parent's love is unconditional. But as I lay dying in that hospital bed, fighting for every breath, my daughter's voice on the phone wasn't calling to say goodbye. She was calling to say she'd sold everything I'd given her for a man she'd known 6 months. The machines keeping me alive couldn't measure the kind of heartbreak that stops a father's soul. The cardiac wing at Vanderbilt Medical Center in Nashville smelled like every prayer I'd whispered since my wife died, desperate and unanswered. 3 heart attacks in 4 days. The doctors called it a miracle I was still breathing, but miracles, I learned, could be cruel. My phone rang at 2:47 a.m., piercing through the morphine fog. The screen showed Lily, my Lillian, my baby girl, the daughter I'd raised alone for 15 years since cancer stole my Margaret. "Sweetheart," my voice came out like gravel still raw from the breathing tube. "Is everything all right? It's so late." Harrison. Not Dad. Not Daddy. Just my first name, like I was a stranger she'd called by mistake. "I'm getting married in the morning, in Gatlinburg." The heart monitor beside me spiked, beeping frantically. A nurse appeared in the doorway, but I waved her away. "Married? Lily, honey, slow down. Whoop!" "Sebastian and I have been together 6 months. It's time I lived my own life without your constant interference." Sebastian. A name she'd mentioned maybe twice? Some investment consultant she'd met at a charity gala at the Country Music Hall of Fame? My gut, the same instinct that had guided me through 35 years of corporate law in Music City, screamed danger. "Lily, please, I just had 3 heart attacks. Can't we discuss?" "The Belmead house you bought me, sold. The Lexus, sold. Sebastian says true independence means cutting financial ties with toxic relationships." The room spun. That house, purchased with my entire retirement fund so she'd have security. The car, her Vanderbilt Law graduation gift, bought the day Margaret would have been so proud. "You sold everything?" Each word felt like glass in my throat. "They were mine to sell. Sebastian verified all the paperwork." Her voice carried a rehearsed quality, like she was reading from a script someone else had written. "The money will fund our new beginning." 15 years. 15 years of being both parents, of turning down commotions to never miss a recital, of sleeping in hospital chairs when she had pneumonia at 13. 15 years of love poured out like water on desert sand. "I see." The words came out steadier than I felt. "Well, congratulations on your wedding." "That's it? No fight? No threats?" Suspicion crept into her voice. "Oh, Princess, you forgot one tiny detail about those properties." "What detail?" Now there was worry. Good. A laugh escaped, not the warm chuckle she knew from bedtime stories and birthday parties, but something darker, forged in courtrooms where I dismantled lying executives for sport. "You'll find out soon enough. Enjoy Gatlinburg, sweetheart. Give Sebastian my regards." I hung up before she could respond. Let them wonder. Let them worry. The darkness of that hospital room felt alive, pulsing with transformation. The devoted father was dying in this bed, but something else was rising. The corporate attorney who'd once made grown CEOs cry during depositions, who knew every legal loophole in Tennessee state law. My hand found my phone again, scrolling to a contact I hadn't called in years. Vincent Russo, the private investigator who'd helped me nail a corruption case that made headlines from Memphis to Knoxville. "Vince, it's Harrison Calloway. I need everything you can find on a Sebastian Cross, and I mean everything, down to his elementary school lunch money debts." "Harry? Christ, it's 3 in the morning. This better be—" "My daughter's about to marry a con man. I'm lying in Vanderbilt cardiac unit, and I need you to be my legs." "Say no more. I'm on it." As I ended the call, Donna, the night nurse, who'd been watching from the doorway, stepped in. "Mr. Calloway, your heart rate." My heart's the least of my problems. I looked at her kind face, lined with years of watching families fracture in these sterile rooms. You have kids, Donna? 3 boys. Youngest just turned 30. Then you understand. Sometimes protecting them means letting them think they've won just long enough to show them they've lost. She squeezed my shoulder. Whatever battle you're fighting, don't let it kill you. That girl's gonna need her daddy when this is over. If only Donna knew. Lily wasn't the only one who'd need saving before this was through. If you're still watching, it means you understand a parent's worst nightmare. Not death, but living to see your child choose their destroyer over their protector. Please hit subscribe now. Not for me, but for every parent lying awake tonight wondering if love is enough to save their child. Your support helps share these warnings that could save someone's daughter.
6 a.m. came with discharge papers I had no intention of signing and revelations that changed everything. Vincent had worked through the night, and his findings were spread across my phone screen like evidence of war. "Mr. Calloway, you can't leave yet. Your heart." Dr. Williams stood at the foot of my bed, exhaustion written across his face. "Doctor, my daughter is about to marry a man who doesn't exist. My heart will have to manage." I signed myself out AMA, against medical advice, while nurses whispered about stubborn fools and death wishes. They didn't understand. Death was nothing compared to failing Lily again. The Uber ride to my Bellmead home felt like traveling through a museum of better times. Every street corner held a memory, teaching Lily to parallel park on Woodmont Boulevard, her first day at Vanderbilt, celebrating her law degree at Mayor Bulls. My dining room became a war room within an hour. Laptop open, legal documents spread like battle plans, pill bottles standing guard like soldiers. At the center, a photo from Lily's graduation, her smile bright between Margaret's portrait and me. Vincent's research painted a terrifying picture. Sebastian Cross, not his real name, was actually Damian Rivers, formerly Anthony Wolfe. 3 identities, 5 states, 7 women over 9 years. Each relationship followed an identical pattern: whirlwind romance, isolation from family, financial devastation. But the masterpiece of my counterattack lay in a manila folder marked 2019 trust documents. You see, when Margaret was dying, between chemo treatments at Sarah Cannon Cancer Center, she'd made me promise something. "Harry, Lily is going to inherit my trust fund when she's 25, but she's so tender-hearted, so eager to see good in everyone. Promise me you'll protect her from those who'd exploit that goodness." I'd kept that promise through legal architecture so complex it had taken 3 estate attorneys to perfect. The Bellmead house, the Lexus, every asset I'd given Lily, all held in the Margaret Calloway Memorial Trust, with me as sole trustee and Lily as beneficiary. She could live in them, use them, cherish them, but sell them, legally impossible without my signature. My phone buzzed. Robert Chen from Music City Luxury Realty. "Mr. Calloway, we have a serious problem with your daughter's property sale." "There is no sale, Mr. Chen. I pulled up the trust documents on my laptop. Check the deed again. Notice the trustee's signature requirement?" "But Mr. Cross assured us he had power of attorney." "Forged, I assume? I'll have my attorney, William Sterling, contact you within the hour. Whatever deposit Cross took, it's already gone." $50,000. Cash? Of course. Sebastian, Damian, whoever he was, had just committed federal wire fraud. Perfect. By noon, I had assembled a legal team that had once brought down a senator. William Sterling, my former partner, commanded the conference call like a general preparing for battle. "Harry, this trust structure is bulletproof, but are you prepared for what this will do to your relationship with Lily? I stared at Margaret's photo on the mantel. She can hate me alive or love me at my funeral. I choose her hatred. The private investigator found something else, William continued. Cross has a pattern. He disappears within 72 hours of securing funds. If he took that deposit yesterday, he's already planning his exit. My chest tightened, not from the heart condition, but from pure paternal rage. How do we stop him? We don't stop him, Harry. We let him run, straight into the trap. That afternoon, I did something that would have horrified the old Harrison Calloway, the one who believed in playing by the rules. I called Sebastian Cross directly. Mr. Calloway, I'm so sorry to hear about your health troubles. Lily's been so worried. Cut the act, Damien. Silence. Then, carefully, I think you have me confused with Damian Rivers, previously Anthony Wolfe, currently Sebastian Cross, originally Kevin Mitchell, wanted for fraud in Michigan, Ohio, and Illinois. The silence stretched longer this time. When he spoke again, the fake accent was gone, replaced with flat Midwest vowels. You can't prove anything. I don't need to prove it to the police, Damien. I just need to prove it to Lily. She won't believe you. I've made sure of that. She thinks you're a controlling old man who can't let go. Maybe, but she'll believe Veronica Hartley. I could practically hear him stop breathing. Veronica, his victim from Atlanta, who'd lost her dead mother's inheritance to his schemes. Veronica won't talk. I made sure. Veronica's driving up from Atlanta as we speak. So is Isabel Park from Charlotte. Catherine Wells is flying in from Houston. Quite the reunion you're about to have. You're bluffing. Suite 412 at the Union Station Hotel. 1 hour. Come alone, or I call the FBI now instead of giving you a running start. Every parent watching this moment knows when you'd burn every bridge to build your child a path to safety. If this story resonates with your heart, please subscribe and share. Your action could help another father save his daughter, another family avoid this nightmare. Don't scroll past. Be the guardian angel someone needs.
The Union Station hotel lobby buzzed with tourist energy, but the three women sitting in Suite 412 carried the stillness of survivors. Veronica Hartley, elegant in her pain. Isabel Park, rebuilt but wary. Catherine Wells, youngest and angriest. Ladies, I addressed them from my wheelchair. Donna had insisted if I was leaving AMA, I'd at least use support. Thank you for coming. I know this isn't easy. When Vince called, I didn't believe it. Veronica spoke first, her Atlanta accent soft but determined. Damien's found another victim? My daughter. They're supposed to be married today in Gatlinburg. Today? Isabel's hand flew to her mouth. That's his timeline. Quick ceremony, quicker disappearance. Catherine pulled out a worn notebook. I documented everything. Every lie, every manipulation tactic, every red flag I missed. She looked at me with eyes that aged beyond her 26 years. Your daughter, what's her vulnerability? Her mother died when she was 13. Breast cancer. 3 years of treatments that didn't work. The women exchanged knowing looks. That's his entry point, Veronica explained. He becomes whatever fills that void. For me, it was stability after my divorce. For Isabel, a father figure after mine died. He was older, wiser, everything I thought I needed. For me, Catherine added, he was the bad boy who understood my good girl rebellion. He morphs into whatever you're missing. Tell me about the money, I said, though my stomach turned at reducing their pain to dollars. 300,000, Veronica whispered. My mother's life insurance. 250, Isabel added. My dad's military death benefits. 400,000. Catherine's hands clenched.
My trust fund from grandparents who survived the Depression and saved every penny. Nearly $1 million between them. And now he was after Lily's inheritance, Margaret's inheritance, really, money saved by a teacher who'd tutored kids on weekends to build our daughter's future. A knock interrupted us. Sebastian walked in like he owned the world, designer suit impeccable, confidence radiating, until he saw the women. "Hello, Damien," Veronica said simply. He actually stumbled backward. You can't." "Ambush?" I finished. "No, this is what we call evidence in court. Ladies, would you like to share your experiences with Mr. Cross Rivers Wolf?" "You son of a—" He started toward me, but Isabel stood, blocking his path. "Don't. You take it enough from us, you won't take anything from her." Sebastian's mask slipped completely. The charming southern gentleman vanished, replaced by something cold and calculating. "You can't stop the wedding. Lily loves me." "Lily loves a fiction you created." I pulled out my phone, showing him the trust documents. But more importantly, she can't sell what she doesn't own. The house, the car, all in trust. "You've been chasing smoke, Damien." His face went white. "The deposit." "Wire fraud. Across state lines. Federal offense. The FBI will be very interested, especially with 3 previous victims willing to testify." "You don't understand." Desperation crept into his voice. I need that money. I owe people. Dangerous people." "Then you better run fast." I stood, ignoring my body's protests. "You have 6 hours before I call the authorities. Disappear and stay disappeared. Your daughter will hate you for this. Perhaps. But she'll be alive and financially secure to hate me. That's all that matters." He looked at each woman, perhaps seeing for the first time the devastation he had caused. Then he turned and left without another word. Veronica started crying, not sadness, but relief. "You did what none of us could do alone. We all did this together." I handed her tissues from the hotel's elegant box. "Your courage saved my daughter." "Will you tell her?" Isabel asked. "About us?" "Every word. She deserves the truth, even if it breaks her heart." Catherine stood to leave, then paused. "Mr. Calloway, your daughter is lucky. My father didn't fight for me. He said I'd made my choice and had to live with it. Any parent would. No, most parents would step back, afraid of pushing their children away. You stepped forward, knowing she might never forgive you. That's love." After they left, I sat alone in that expensive suite, staring at my phone. 17 missed calls from Lily, 3 voicemails I couldn't bear to play yet. She'd discovered the house sale was void by now. The wedding in Gatlinburg was canceled. Her world was crashing down, and I was the one who'd pushed it over. But then I remembered Margaret's final days, how she'd gripped my hand in that hospice room at Alive Hospice, Nashville. "Promise me, Harry, whatever it takes, keep our baby safe." "I promise. Maggie, whatever it takes." I'd kept that promise today, even if it cost me my daughter's love. If you're still watching, you understand that sometimes love means being the villain in someone's story. Please don't just watch and leave. Subscribe. Share this video with every parent you know. Your single action could prevent another Lily from falling victim to another Sebastian. The life you save might be someone you love.
The confrontation came at 9 p.m., not in person, but through the intercom at my Belmead Estates gate. Lily's voice crackled through the speaker, raw with rage and tears. "Open the gate, Harrison. We need to talk." Harrison, still not Dad. I buzzed her in, watching through the window as her car, not the Lexus, which had been repossessed once the sale was voided, pulled into the circular drive. She emerged in yesterday's clothes, makeup streaked, looking more like the 13-year-old who'd sobbed in my arms at Margaret's funeral than the accomplished attorney she'd become. She didn't knock, using her key, the one I'd never asked her to return, even during our worst fights. The door slammed hard enough to rattle Margaret's china in the display cabinet. "You destroyed my life." She stood in the foyer, trembling with fury. "Sebastian is gone. The house sale is voided. The entire Nashville real estate community is laughing at me. How could you?" "Would you like some tea?" I moved toward the kitchen, partly to diffuse tension, partly because my medications needed food. "Your mother's chamomile blend is—" "Don't!" She followed me, voice breaking. "Don't you dare invoke Mom right now. She would be horrified by what you've done." I turned to face her, leaning heavily on the counter. "Your mother asked me to protect you at any cost. That's exactly what I did." "Protect me? You humiliated me. Sebastian loved me." "Sebastian doesn't exist." I pulled out the file Vincent had compiled, spreading it across the kitchen island. "Meet Damian Rivers, also known as Anthony Wolfe. Birth name, Kevin Mitchell." She stared at the arrest records, the multiple IDs, the pattern of fraud across 5 states. You had these fabricated." "Call Detective Morrison at Nashville Metro. He'll confirm every document." I slid her phone across the counter. "Go ahead." Her hands shook as she dialed. I watched her face crumble as Detective Morrison confirmed what she didn't want to believe. When she hung up, she sank onto a bar stool, looking lost. "But he knew things. About Mom. About my fears." "He researched you, Lily. Your social media, your Vanderbilt Law alumni newsletter, the charity galas you attended. He built a profile and became exactly what you needed." "I'm not that stupid." "You're not stupid at all. You're human. And you were lonely." I sat beside her, careful not to touch. "I know I've been overbearing since Mom died. I created the very isolation he exploited." She was crying now, silent tears that reminded me of the night Margaret died, when Lily had tried to be strong for me. "There's more," I said gently. 3 women drove here today to warn you. His previous victims." "No." "Veronica from Atlanta, Isabel from Charlotte, Catherine from Houston. Each lost everything to the man you knew as Sebastian." I pulled up the video I had recorded with their permission on my phone. 3 women sharing their stories, warning the next victim. Lily watched in horror as they described the same words, the same promises, the same patterns Sebastian had used with her. "He said I was different, special." "You are special. That's why he targeted you." "How much did they lose?" "Combined, nearly $1 million. She stood abruptly, pacing. "I need air. I need—" She stopped at the French doors leading to the garden, staring at Margaret's rose bushes, still blooming despite the season. "Mom would have seen through him." "Your mother would have done exactly what you did, loved with her whole heart. It's your greatest strength, sweetheart. He weaponized it against you." "Why didn't you just tell me the truth from the beginning?" "Would you have believed me?" She turned to look at me, and for the first time in 6 months, I saw my daughter, not the stranger Sebastian had created. "No," she admitted. "I would have thought you were trying to control me." "He isolated you perfectly, made my protection look like possession." "How did you know? About the trust structure, about protecting the assets?" I smiled sadly. "Because when your mother was dying, she made me promise to protect you from yourself if needed. She knew you had her heart, too willing to trust, too ready to love. So you created a legal maze. I created a safety net. You could live freely, make mistakes, even fall in love with the wrong person, but you couldn't lose everything." Lily returned to the kitchen, pouring herself tea with hands that still trembled. Where is he now? Running. He has 6 hours before the FBI gets involved. You let him go? I gave him a choice: disappear or face federal charges with 3 witnesses ready to testify. Part of me still wants to warn him. She laughed bitterly. How sick is that? That's trauma bonding. It'll take time to break those psychological chains. We sat in silence, drinking tea from Margaret's china, surrounded by the ghosts of better times. I'm sorry, Dad. The word Dad hung between us like a bridge rebuilt. I said horrible things. I chose him over you. You were drowning, sweetheart. Drowning people don't apologize for grabbing the nearest rope. Even when it's around their father's neck? Even then, because fathers' necks are strong enough to take it. Her phone buzzed. Sebastian. She showed me the text. Your father poisoned us. I had to leave for your safety. I'll come back for you. He's still trying to manipulate me. Block the number. Change your locks. File a restraining order tomorrow. What if he does come back? I pulled out my phone, showing her the security system I'd had installed that afternoon. Motion sensors, cameras, panic buttons linked directly to Metro Police. Vincent has a team watching your apartment. You did all this today, after leaving the hospital against medical advice? I'd do it every day for the rest of my life if it kept you safe.
3 days later, Sebastian made his first mistake. He used a credit card at a gas station in Knoxville, heading east toward North Carolina. Vincent's contact at the Financial Crimes Unit flagged it immediately. He's running scared, Vincent told me over the phone. But here's the interesting part. He withdrew $10,000 in cash before leaving Nashville. That's not running money. That's paying someone back money. I was in William Sterling's law office in downtown Nashville, surrounded by legal documents that would ensure Sebastian never hurt anyone again. He mentioned owing dangerous people, I said. Maybe that's why he's escalating, getting sloppier. Harry, William interrupted. Lily's here. She entered, looking stronger than 3 days ago, dressed in her prosecutor's suit. She'd returned to work at the Davidson County DA's office, throwing herself into cases like work could wash away the shame. The FBI wants my statement, she said without preamble. I'm ready to give it. You don't have to. Yes, I do. She sat down, back straight, lawyer mode engaged. I've been researching. There are dozens of victims across the country, support groups, online forums. This is bigger than just Sebastian or Damien or whoever he really is. It's an epidemic. Sweetheart, I want to help prosecute him, officially. The DA is letting me assist on the case. William and I exchanged glances. That could be traumatic, William warned. Everything about this is traumatic. At least this way I'm fighting back. That afternoon, she gave her statement to FBI Special Agent Patricia Coleman. I sat beside her, watching my daughter transform her pain into purpose, describing each manipulation, each lie, each red flag she'd missed. He knew about my mother's death within our first conversation, Lily explained. I thought I'd mentioned it, but looking back, he brought it up. He'd researched me. How did he research you? Social media, obviously, but also... Lily paused, realization dawning. The charity gala where we met. He wasn't on the guest list. I checked afterward. He crashed it specifically to meet me. Why you? The event program listed major donors. I was listed under young philanthropists, people under 30 who donated over $50,000. He was hunting. The pattern became clearer as Lily spoke. Sebastian had studied his victims like a scientist studying specimens, learning their weaknesses, their desires, their fears. He mentioned your father early on, didn't he? FBI agent Coleman asked. Second date. Said he could tell I was struggling with an overbearing parent. Said he understood because his father had been the same way before he died. His father's alive in Detroit. Hasn't spoken to Sebastian, Kevin, in 15 years. By evening, the FBI had enough for federal wire fraud charges, but Sebastian had vanished again, the trail cold after Knoxville. That night, Lily stayed for dinner, the first time in 6 months. We cooked together, Margaret's lasagna recipe, moving around each other in the kitchen with the practiced ease of years before Sebastian. "I've been thinking about Mom," Lily said, layering noodles. What she would say about all this. She'd probably make inappropriate jokes to ease the tension. Lily smiled, the first real smile I'd seen in days. "Remember when she was in hospice and she told that nurse her dying wish was to see you in a Speedo? The poor woman nearly called psychiatric for a consult." We laughed, and for a moment it felt like healing was possible. Then Lily's phone rang. Unknown number, North Carolina area code. "Don't answer," I started, but she'd already accepted the call, putting it on speaker. "Lily, baby, don't hang up." Sebastian's voice filled my kitchen like poison gas. "I need you to know the truth." "The truth? Which version? The one where you're Sebastian Cross, investment consultant? Or Damian Rivers, entrepreneur? Or Anthony Wolf, art dealer?" Silence. Then, "You don't understand. I became those people for survival, but with you, I was real." "Real? Nothing about you is real." "My feelings were real, are real. Lily, I love you." I grabbed the phone. "You love her money, Kevin. That's all you've ever loved." "The old man." Sebastian's voice turned cold. "Controlling her, I see." "No," Lily took the phone back. "He's protecting me, something you never did. You isolated me, manipulated me, tried to steal from me." "I was trying to free you. You were trying to rob me. But here's what you didn't know, Sebastian or Damien or Kevin or whoever you really are. I'm a prosecutor, and I'm very, very good at my job. I'm coming for you." She hung up and immediately called Agent Coleman. "He just made contact. North Carolina number. Can you trace it?" Within an hour, they'd pinpointed the call to Asheville. The hunt was on.
The call came at dawn. Agent Coleman's voice was all business, but I heard satisfaction underneath. "We got him. Asheville PD picked up Kevin Mitchell, a.k.a. Sebastian Cross, at a motel off I-40. He's being transported back to Nashville for federal booking." I was making coffee, hands steady for the first time in a week. "Was anyone with him?" "No, but Harry, we found something, a notebook, full of information about potential victims. Your daughter wasn't the only one he was targeting in Nashville." My blood chilled. "Who else?" 6 women, all young professionals with family money, all with some recent trauma or loss. He had a whole system. When I told Lily, she went quiet. Then, "I want to see him. At the arraignment." "Sweetheart, you don't have to. I need to. I need him to see me standing strong, with you beside me. I need to take my power back." The federal courthouse in downtown Nashville was packed for the arraignment. Word had spread through legal circles. The son of a prominent Memphis judge, now a serial con artist, captured after years of fraud. Media crowded the steps, but William had arranged for us to enter through the secure entrance. The courtroom was smaller than expected, intimate in a way that made everything more real. Veronica had flown in from Atlanta. Isabel drove from Charlotte. Catherine took a red-eye from Houston. They sat together, a jury of his victims, ready to bear witness. When they brought Sebastian in, orange jumpsuit replacing designer suits, wrists shackled, the transformation was complete. The confident predator was gone. In his place stood Kevin Mitchell, small and ordinary. His eyes found Lily immediately. She didn't flinch, didn't look away. She held his gaze with the steady strength of someone who'd survived him. The United States versus Kevin Mitchell, also known as Sebastian Cross, Damian Rivers, and Anthony Wolf, the judge read. Charges include 14 counts of wire fraud, 6 counts of identity theft, 4 counts of interstate fraud. "How does your client plead?" Sebastian's public defender, looking overwhelmed, whispered urgently with his client. Sebastian kept staring at Lily, as if she might somehow save him. "Not guilty, Your Honor." A ripple went through the courtroom. Veronica actually laughed, bitter and short. The prosecutor stood. "Your Honor, given the defendant's history of flight and multiple identities, the government requests no bail." "Your Honor," the public defender protested, "my client has ties to the community." "What community? He doesn't even have a consistent name.
He's been Kevin Mitchell, Sebastian Cross, Damian Rivers, and Anthony Wolfe. Who knows who else? He's a flight risk by definition. The judge reviewed the files. Bail is denied. The defendant will remain in federal custody pending trial. As they led Sebastian away, he called out, "Lily, tell them the truth. Tell them what we had was real." Lily stood, her voice carrying across the courtroom. It was real. Real fraud, real manipulation, real crime, and now real consequences. Outside the courthouse, the four women stood together: Lily, Veronica, Isabel, and Catherine, survivors united by shared trauma and shared strength. "We should stay in touch," Veronica suggested. "Help each other through the trial. And help other women," Lily added. "There are more victims out there afraid to come forward." That evening, Lily and I sat in Centennial Park watching the sunset paint the Parthenon golden. The same bench where I'd told Lily about Margaret's diagnosis 15 years ago. "I've been thinking about law school," she said suddenly. "You have your law degree, sweetheart. From Vanderbilt, remember?" "No, I mean changing focus. I've been doing corporate law like you. But after this, I want to do victim advocacy. Help people like Veronica and Isabel and Catherine, like me." That's a big change. Sebastian changed everything. Might as well use it for good. I pulled her close, and she didn't resist. Your mother would be proud. She'd probably make a joke about me finally finding a worse boyfriend than that drummer from high school. Tommy with the neck tattoo? Sebastian was definitely worse. We laughed, and it felt like forgiveness, not just of each other, but of ourselves. That night, I found an email from Sebastian's public defender, a plea deal offer. 15 years if Lily would write a letter saying their relationship was consensual, that she'd given him money willingly. I forwarded it to Lily with a single question mark. Her response came immediately. "Tell him I'll see him at trial, every day, front row, taking notes for the book I'm going to write about con artists who prey on grieving women." My daughter was back, stronger, fiercer, ready for war.
Every parent watching understands this moment when your child finally sees the monster you've been fighting. If this story touches your heart, please subscribe and share. Don't let it end here. Your action could be the warning that saves another family from this nightmare.
6 months later, federal court, downtown Nashville. The trial that had captured the attention of every true crime podcast from here to Los Angeles was finally beginning. I sat in the gallery, my heart, now reinforced with 4 stents and a pacemaker, beating steadily. Lily sat at the prosecution's table as a consultant, her expertise in both corporate law and personal experience making her invaluable. Sebastian had lost weight. His designer physique withered to something desperate. His mother had hired a better attorney, Reginald Barnes from Memphis, known for getting guilty people lighter sentences through theatrical defenses. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," Barnes began, "my client doesn't deny he used different names, but using an alias isn't a crime. Dating wealthy women isn't a crime. Having relationships end badly isn't a crime." Lily's jaw clenched, but she remained composed, taking notes in the leather journal I'd given her for her birthday, the first gift she'd accepted from me since the reconciliation. The prosecutor, Assistant U.S. Attorney Maria Santos, stood slowly. The defendant didn't just use aliases. He created entire fictional personas designed to exploit grieving, vulnerable women. This isn't about bad relationships. It's about systematic fraud. Veronica testified first, composed, professional, devastating. She walked the jury through every manipulation, every lie, every dollar stolen. He knew my mother had just died. He found my grief support group online, showed up pretending to have lost his wife, built trust through fake shared pain. "Objection," Barnes called, "speculation about my client's motivations." Sustained. But the damage was done. The jury had heard it. Isabel went next, then Catherine. Each testimony built the pattern, the methodology, the calculated cruelty of Sebastian's crimes. Then it was Lily's turn. She walked to the witness stand in the navy suit she'd worn to her first day as a prosecutor. Armor, she'd called it. Her eyes found mine briefly, drawing strength.
Miss Calloway, Maria Santos began, how did you meet the defendant? At the Country Music Hall of Fame Charity Gala, I was a featured young philanthropist. He wasn't on the guest list. He'd infiltrated the event specifically to meet me.
How do you know this? Security footage shows him studying the event program, circling my name before approaching me. Barnes stood for cross-examination, adjusting his tie. Miss Calloway, isn't it true you gave my client access to your finances willingly? I gave Sebastian Cross access. Sebastian Cross doesn't exist. You were in love with my client. I was in love with a fiction he created. But you felt real love. Yes, Lily's voice didn't waver, which is what makes his crime worse. He weaponized the most human emotion against me. You're angry about the relationship ending. I'm angry about being defrauded. There's a difference. Your father interfered in your relationship? My father saved me from financial ruin. If he hadn't structured my assets in a trust, I'd have lost everything like the other victims. Barnes tried another angle. You're a prosecutor yourself. How did someone so legally educated fall for this alleged fraud? Lily straightened. Because con artists don't target stupidity, Mr. Barnes. They target humanity, loneliness, grief, hope, things that make us human, not weak. The defense's case crumbled when they called Sebastian to testify. Against his attorney's advice, he insisted on taking the stand. I loved Lily, he said, looking directly at her. Everything else was survival, but she was real. Maria Santos destroyed him on cross.
Mr. Mitchell, is this your signature on a lease application using the name Sebastian Cross? Yes. Is this your signature on a bank account as Damian Rivers? Yes. Is this your signature on a credit application as Anthony Wolf? Yes, but no further questions. The jury deliberated for 3 hours, guilty on all counts. At sentencing 2 weeks later, Judge Patricia Morrison, a woman who'd built her career prosecuting financial crimes, didn't mince words. Mr. Mitchell, you're not just a thief. You're a predator who hunted human hearts. You studied grief like a textbook and used it as a weapon. 25 years, no parole. As they led Sebastian away, he turned one last time, not to Lily, but to me. You destroyed everything, he said. No, I replied. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure you couldn't destroy her. Outside the courthouse, Lily stood before the microphones, Veronica, Isabel, and Catherine beside her. Today, justice was served, but this isn't over. There are more victims out there afraid to come forward, more predators studying our social media, our obituaries, our weaknesses. We're starting a foundation, the Margaret Calloway Foundation, to help victims of romance fraud. Because my mother's memory deserves to fight for others the way my father fought for me. That evening, we stood at Margaret's grave at Mount Olivet Cemetery. The sunset painted the headstone gold. We did it, Maggie. We saved our girl.
Lily squeezed my hand. She saved me through you, Dad. Every overprotective, controlling, wonderful thing you did came from her love living on in you. I'm sorry I was so perfect. You were perfect, Dad. Not in spite of your fierce protection, but because of it. This story is ending, but thousands more are beginning right now. If you've watched this far, you understand the danger. Please, subscribe, share, comment. Help us reach every potential victim, every protective parent, every person who needs to know that love shouldn't cost everything. Your action today could save someone tomorrow.
1 year later, the Margaret Calloway Foundation's first anniversary gala was held at the Country Music Hall of Fame, the same venue where Lily had met Sebastian. We'd reclaimed the space, transformed it from a hunting ground to a sanctuary. "Full circle," Lily said, adjusting the microphone. She wore Margaret's pearls, the ones I'd saved for her wedding day. This wasn't the wedding we'd imagined, but it was a union nonetheless, between survivors, advocates, and protectors. The room was packed. Veronica had flown in from Atlanta, where she now ran a support group for romance fraud victims. Isabel came from Charlotte with her new fiancé, a pediatrician she'd met at her therapist's office, who understood trauma and healing. Catherine had brought her parents from Houston, finally reconciled after years of estrangement. 1 year ago, Lily began her speech, I thought my life was over. I'd been conned, humiliated, nearly bankrupted. But more than that, I'd lost my ability to trust others and myself. The room was silent, hundreds of eyes fixed on my daughter. My father, she found me in the crowd, smiled, saved me. Not just financially, though the trust he'd set up did that. He saved my ability to believe that real love exists, because he showed me what it looks like. Love that protects without smothering. Love that fights without controlling. Love that endures even when misunderstood. Applause rippled through the room. I wiped my eyes, not caring who saw. Tonight, we're announcing the Foundation's first-year results. 47 victims helped. $3 million recovered through legal action. 15 predators prosecuted. And one very important lesson learned. We are not alone. After the speeches, I found myself at the bar with someone unexpected. Nathan Brooks, the architect who'd been quietly courting Lily for the past 6 months. He'd attended every support group meeting, not as a victim, but as an advocate. His sister had been conned 5 years ago. "Mr. Calloway," he said, extending his hand, "I wanted to talk to you. If this is about Lily." "It is." He met my eyes directly. "I know what she's been through. I know what you both have. I'm not asking for your blessing. That's Lily's to give. I'm asking for your trust." "Trust is earned." "Yes, sir. That's why I brought this." He handed me a folder. Complete background check, financial records, credit report, 3 references from ex-girlfriends, even my therapy records after my sister's trauma. I stared at the folder, then laughed, really laughed for the first time in 2 years. "Son, you just passed the first test." Which was, understanding that transparency isn't control, it's respect. Later, I watched Lily and Nathan dancing, her head on his shoulder, looking peaceful. Veronica appeared beside me. "She's healing," she observed.
We all are. You know, Mr. Calloway, you've become something of a legend in our support groups. The father who fought back. Any parent would. No, they wouldn't. My father told me I had made my bed. Isabel's family blamed her. Catherine's parents didn't speak to her for 2 years. You're rare. Vincent Russo joined us, carrying his usual bourbon. "Harry, you see the news? Kevin Mitchell got another 5 years added. Apparently, he was running a phone scam from prison." Of course he was. Some people never change. But some do. Vincent nodded toward Lily. She's remarkable. Turned trauma into purpose. The evening was winding down when Lily found me on the terrace, overlooking the Cumberland River. Nashville's lights reflected on the water like scattered stars. "Dad, I have something to tell you." My heart, that repaired, traumatized organ, skipped. "You're not—" "No. God, no."
Nathan and I aren't there yet. She laughed. I got accepted. Accepted? To the FBI Academy. I'm joining the Financial Crimes Division. I pulled her into a hug, feeling her strength, her purpose, her transformation from victim to warrior. Mom would be so proud, I whispered. She is proud. I feel her sometimes in the work, like she's guiding me to help others the way you helped me. Lily, about Nathan? I know you had Vincent run a background check. How did you? Because I did too. She grinned. I learned from the best. Trust, but verify. Love, but protect. Hope, but prepare. We stood together, father and daughter, survivors of different battles, but the same war.
I love you, Dad. Thank you for saving me. You saved yourself, sweetheart. I just made sure you lived long enough to do it. We saved each other. As the evening ended and guests departed, I noticed a young woman lingering by the registration table. She looked familiar, lost, scared, checking her phone repeatedly. Lily noticed too. She approached the woman gently. "Are you okay?" I think my boyfriend might be. I found this website about romance fraud and." She started crying. Lily guided her to a quiet corner, and I watched my daughter become for this stranger what Veronica, Isabel, and Catherine had been for her, the circle of protection expanding. Nathan appeared beside me. She's remarkable. She's her mother's daughter, sees pain and can't help but try to heal it. And her father's daughter sees danger and can't help but fight it. Later, as I drove home through the quiet streets of Belmead, I thought about the journey from that hospital bed to tonight. The father who'd nearly died had been reborn. The daughter who'd nearly been destroyed had been rebuilt. The family broken by death and deception had been reformed, stronger at the broken places. My phone buzzed at a red light. A text from Lily. "The woman tonight, her boyfriend is using Sebastian's exact playbook. We're going to stop him. Together." I smiled, texting back, "Together." At home, I stood before Margaret's portrait in my study. "We did it, my love. Our daughter isn't just safe, she's the shield for others. She has become what you always knew she could be." The portrait, of course, didn't answer. But somewhere in the wind chimes on the porch, in the roses still blooming in the garden, in the fierce love that had saved us all, I heard Margaret's voice. "I knew you would, Harry. I always knew."
6 months later, I stood in a federal courthouse in Memphis watching Lily prosecute her first romance fraud case as an FBI agent. The defendant, another Sebastian, another predator, another threat to someone's daughter, didn't stand a chance. During a recess, the victim's father approached me. "You're Harrison Calloway. Your daughter saved mine. She saves a lot of people now." "No, you don't understand. My daughter saw Lily's interview on 60 Minutes about your story. It gave her courage to come forward. Our story. It had become bigger than us, reaching victims across the country. The Margaret Calloway Foundation had chapters in 12 cities. Lily's book, Love, Lies, and Legal Trusts, A Survivor's Guide, was a bestseller. But the real victory was smaller, quieter. It was Sunday dinners resumed. It was Lily calling just to chat. It was Nathan asking my advice about the engagement ring he was planning to buy, with full financial disclosure, naturally. It was the knowledge that Margaret's last wish had been fulfilled. Our daughter was safe. More than safe, she was the guardian angel for others that Margaret had been for us. The trial ended with a conviction.
20 years for the new predator. As we walked out of the courthouse, Lily linked her arm through mine. Ready for lunch? Nathan's meeting us at that barbecue place you like. Rendezvous? You know I can't eat that with my heart condition. Once won't kill you. Besides, she grinned, you're too stubborn to die. You've proven that. Lily? Yeah, Dad? I'm proud of you. I know. She squeezed my arm. I'm proud of you too. For fighting for me when I couldn't fight for myself. For loving me when I was unlovable. For being the father who refused to give up. As we drove through Memphis, toward barbecue and Nathan and the future, I thought about all the daughters out there facing their own Sebastians, all the fathers lying in hospital beds, wondering if love would be enough. It would be. It had to be. Because that's what parents do. We fight battles our children don't even know exist. We build safety nets they never see. We love fiercely, protectively, sometimes imperfectly, but always eternally. And sometimes, if we're very lucky, we live to see them understand. This story is ending, but yours is just beginning. If you have a daughter, a sister, a friend who needs to hear this, share it now. Don't wait until it's too late. Subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and comment with your own story. Every voice matters. Every warning could save a life. The Margaret Calloway Foundation is real in spirit, if not in name. We are all protectors when we share these truths. Thank you for watching, for caring, for being part of the solution. Remember, love shouldn't cost everything, but fighting for those we love is worth everything. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay loving, and never apologize for protecting those who matter most.